Verbs, Blake, I don't know if you have things like this. I'm very aspirational in the type of person that I want to be. For example, one area is that the people that I respect most tend to be the quietest people. That is not me, but I always go, God, I wish that I could just shut up and just listen more and just talk a little less and I just feel that wisdom, but that's not me. Another thing, though, that I would like to do is our 14-year-old we take to a miniature shop every Wednesday to play Dungeons and Dragons. And when I'm in the shop, we're dropping him off or whatever, you'll see all these little miniatures that are on the shelves that you can buy, and you can buy a kit, and then you can paint the miniature. And I picture myself going like, oh, I've had a long day. I cannot wait to go down to the shop room and get my little paintbrush and maybe like one of those little magnifying glass things that like the dentist would use or whatever, and just like paint away my stress. I would love to be that person who could prioritize that time and could do it physically. I don't know if I have the dexterity for that, but that when I picture what it means to like rejuvenate and feel refreshed, it looks like that. It looks like sitting down after work, after the kids have gone to bed, and just like painting like an orc or something. Does anybody have anything else? Does anybody have anything like that for themselves?
My first question, Nick, is what has prevented you from hopping in to that miniature kit and grabbing the brush just to even try it? Because that seems like a cool thing to take on.
I don't know. I think I struggle with that's for somebody else a lot. There isn't a ton of time right now. It's kind of a busy season. But if I'll say this, I know that my son doesn't listen to this, and he should not. He's got too much going on. But if he were to pick it up, which we've suggested, I definitely would be trying it. So that's something that I think your point is correct, though, Verbs, that I could, how do you get to be the person who's making miniatures? You start making miniatures. So I your point is well taken.
Well, here's the fringe benefit, Nick, of this potential endeavor is that when we consider productivity, and this is, as they say, the most productive podcast on the internet, most people tend to think about two things: their time and their tasks. Specifically, how do I get more tasks done in less time?
Yes.
So task management and time management, that's productivity. But a hugely underrated component of productivity that we're going to talk about in today's episode is energy management. Energy management, because your energy can fluctuate, and what you choose to do can just be depleting your energy all the time or giving you rejuvenation and building your energy up. And if you're really high energy, like think about the people who are really high energy in your life, they're usually very productive. So it stands to reason, and it may be counterintuitive though, although it's a busy season, Nick, perhaps by painting a miniature or two, before you make your hot tea or whatever you do with your nightly ritual, perhaps just the mental escape that could replenish your energy in a really powerful way.
Well, you're there every Wednesday, right? Or you just dropping him off?
Well, it's tonight. Yeah, we usually just drop them off, but sometimes I pop in and I go, ooh, I just want to get in there.
So yeah, Nick, one night you drop him off and say, no, I'm not going to pull off and come back later. I'm going to go inside this shop. I'm going to get that kid.
Leaving.
I'm not leaving until there's a miniature that's been painted by Nick.
I'm going to go in there with just like a wad of cash and just like throw it on the counter and just like shopkeeper, I demand miniature supplies. I'm not leaving until I get them.
So today we'll be sharing 4 methods to boost your energy and enhance your productivity so you can achieve those goals. Dun 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 dun. Here's a story. Welcome once again to another episode of Focus on This. This is the most productive podcast on the internet to help you banish distractions, get the right stuff done, and finally start loving Mondays. My name is Verbs, here with Blake Stratton, and of course, always in the wings listening, our producer Nick. Our producer?
Picture that
Monday
I
to you
played
both.
like a giant organ hit, like I'm the Phantom, always in the wings. Thunder crash. Happy Monday,
Beep, beep, beep,
Verbs.
beep, beep. Happy Monday unto you.
And happy Monday unto you. All right, so we all want to achieve goals. We talk about that a lot on this show. Now we're talking about today, those meeting those goals or achieving those goals is kind of difficult if you don't have the energy to do it. And this is an interesting conversation that we're jumping in today because obviously as we go along in life, we have a ton of energy in our younger years. Energy starts to wane. Typically, it starts to wane as we get older. And one, I think we just have to be aware of that's like an actual thing. You're not going to have the same energy, at 52 that you did at 22 necessarily. But we want to talk about how we can preserve our energy to get the best results in our goals. Blake, we're going to talk about this first method, which is replenishing our energy, replenishing your energy in some of the best ways that we can consider to do that and utilize the system to help us on that way.
Yeah. There's a good chance if you're the type of person that subscribes to a productivity podcast, if we said, I challenge you to replenish your energy today, you could probably think of a few things. But we'll help you brainstorm. For starters, think about what you're eating. Think about not just how can I eat quickly so I can better manage my time, but think what could I eat so that I could replenish my energy. Again, it's not just about task and time management, but about energy management. So think about how you're fueling your body. Think about rest. There's so much out there increasingly on the research of sleep and just how significant getting a good night's sleep or not getting a good night's sleep is on our productivity and our enjoyment, our moods, our emotions, on and on and on, our long-term physical health. So there's a couple tools that we talk about that might be helpful for you. Two come to mind, Verbs. One is when you are planning your day or starting your day, you may be using your daily page, if you use the Full Focus Planner, to write down your big tasks. That's important. And then maybe to write in your meetings. But I want you to consider, what if you also wrote in not just the meetings that you've got, but when you're going to replenish your energy. For instance, actually scheduling in a mealtime, or actually scheduling in a quick nap, or a 30-minute meditation, or a workday shutdown type of thing. The other tool that the planner gives you to help you replenish your energy is some space to be intentional about how you want to end your day. So sleep, we tend to think, okay, how many hours can I get? But one way to enhance the quality of your sleep is to wind down. That's why there's that evening ritual space in the planner, is because you can actually be intentional about, okay, if I had to get a great night's sleep, what would have to be true? I'd have to wrap up work, like sign off, maybe journal, read, whatever. Nick, I know you love to just take a nice bubble bath with a glass of red wine and a good romance novel, for instance.
Every night. If that doesn't happen, watch out tomorrow.
This guy is a monster the next day. Yeah.
So method number one, replenish your energy during the day. Verbs, what is the second way?
Just a quick hack. Obviously, we talk about the secret sauce of the planner. One of the secret sauces, at least, is the weekly preview. So if you are somebody who's trying to, be more mindful about what you're eating throughout the day, and you feel like it's more of a struggle for you to do it by deciding on the day what you'll eat, there is that section in the weekly preview that just is a grid of your week. So it's just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, blanks for that. A lot of people utilize that space as their meal planner for the week. So when they're doing their weekly preview on a Sunday or Monday morning, they get ahead of the game and write down what they're going to eat. That way, it's not another decision they have to make on their day of. So just want to throw that quick hack in there as we move to method number 2, which is striving.
Hold on. I got another thing. I've got another thing, Nick. Verbs.
Bring it. We're
never making it to method 2. And I'm just throwing this out there as a concept that I've thought about a lot because I heard someone say it, which is about, like, we tend to think of morning rituals or nighttime as when people will work out often, maybe in the morning. They'll go run, they'll go to the gym or whatever. I saw somebody who was like in the fitness space talking about working out, and they were saying if you are cutting into your sleep for working out, you've got to make some changes. So to connect to what Blake was saying as well is to go, sleep is very important. And if you're kind of like cutting an hour, hour and a half out of your sleep to go work out because you think that it's also good for you, you will not get the gains you're looking for if you're not rested. It's an opportunity to maybe rethink how it all comes together, because sleep is that important, especially if you're trying to become more healthy or stronger. You're gonna need sleep anyway to have your body heal. So just throw that out there.
Let's move to method number 2, which is striving for work-life balance. Now, there's a lot of, I guess you could say, controversy maybe around this term work-life balance, as is it really possible to be balanced the way you would want to be balanced in life? So another alternate term, sometimes people throw out just rhythms, work-life rhythms, because seasons change in life. There's all kinds of transitions that happen that could throw things off balance. But if we can get into a steady rhythm, that's going to help us in our productivity as well. And Blake, you just mentioned this in the prior method that we talked about, is what does shutting down your day look like for you? Whether it's in the evening, do you have some sort of ritual that you do to help you get out of that work mode and really land the evening in a restful way? There's another ritual that we talk about often here on the podcast called the workday shutdown. Do you have a shutdown? If you don't, that means work really doesn't have an ending, and it's hard to stay in a good rhythm, in a good balance. If you're just leaving the office, going home still with all those windows and open-ended questions and loose ends still hanging there. But what do we do? What's the best way to cap the end of our workday to know it's done for now and we could pick up again in the morning time?
Yeah, there's a few practices that I try to do, but if there's two essential things that I would recommend, one would be to shift into accounting mode from doing mode. So when we look at our task list, sometimes we see something that's not done and we go, oh, let me just do this real quick. Or we just leave it open-ended and wish that we could get it done, and maybe I'll get some time when I get home. But I like to think of sort of putting on my accounting visor. Is that what an accountant wears? A visor, maybe a nice
The green
blazer,
one with
perhaps.
the little transparent bill on there.
Yeah.
What's up with that? Wait a minute. Is there what's the reason for that visor? What is that? For real, that's like the visor we all thought of. Is there a reason
It's the
that
light.
it has
You
to
don't
be
want
green?
the light to mess up.
I think it's a legal
tablet
thing. Yeah. It's part of, the requirements. So you're putting on your accountant's visor. So when you see that task that's not completed, you don't scurry into, oh, let me try to do this, or just worry about it the rest of the day. You account for it. You say, okay, I'm going to defer this to tomorrow, or I have to just delete this from my list, or I've got to schedule it somewhere else or communicate to someone about it really quick. You are simply doing some accounting so that you can close the book on the day, whether it was a win, a loss, good day, bad day. The second thing that's really valuable in a workday shutdown is to just for a moment consider how you want to show up for the next segment of your day. So if you're going to be with your kids, to sort of, for me, it's not that I'm a different person, but there's aspects of my personality I bring to a client, or I bring to a presentation or a sales call. I don't want to bring that same energy to my 4-year-old, right? So consciously, if you've got a commute, this is helpful, to just disconnect on your commute or take a quick walk, or just, for me, all I really need is about 30 seconds of closing my eyes in silence and just sort of, all right, I'm shifting gears. This is the next segment of my day. I want to be present. I want to be thoughtful. I want to be caring, whatever, and just sort of get there mentally. So all of that does not have to take a super long time. So don't worry if you feel like I don't have time for a workday shutdown. You do have time, because you're going to carry it in your brain one way or the other. It's up to you to decide what you want to be thinking about as you move forward.
Yeah, I like that, Blake. That whole accounting method, it seems like really that's your guardrails. One, that your work doesn't spill over, but then you also have a place to contain the things that you would try to continue to think about as you get out of your workday into the next segment of your day. But there's nothing that's going to go on past that can't wait to that next day once you said, all right, we're shutting it down, we're unplugging for the next moment. So, and also in a recent podcast, we talked about the ideal week, and getting that workday shut down scheduled is going to be critical, just so you have a place marked for when that should happen within the course of your day to help you be successful with those shutdowns. All right, so method number 3 is take a break. Now, this is something that we've pretty much been trained to do since grade school. It used to be called recess. I don't know what it's called now, but the importance of having some kind of break in your day where you could refresh, you can recoup, you can defog your brain. And now, obviously, there's a bunch of different apps that could help us or remind us at least to take a break, but actually doing the break, taking the break, seems to be a challenge for a lot of us. You have any thoughts around? Well, let me ask you this, Nick. I'm sure that you have back-to-back sessions recorded when you're doing your podcasting thing. Is taking a break a struggle for you, or you feel like the way your day flows is already kind of natural breaks built into that? But
I mean, whenever I have to do recording sessions like this, as much as I love y'all, it is, I have to, like, after a session like this, I have to, like, go away from this desk. I have to, as the kids say, touch grass, so that I can rejuvenate. Otherwise, and it's very specific to this work. I could
right,
sit here and edit all day, and it's sort of fine, but it is the being on and, like, tracking that and engaging. Sometimes it is exhausting, and so getting out of this room, getting out of this house is very key, and it is something that we've had to design. I don't generally schedule my life because I have someone else do that for me. And that's one of those things where I go, I if I've got a recording session, then I need, something has to happen after that is not
sure.
in front of my computer.
Sure. No, and that makes sense. And I think in a lot of ways, it sounds like your workday flow, these are like consolidated into 2-hour blocks of just high focus, paying attention, tracking with everything that's said for like the next 2 hours. But I would also say that there's others that could be listening to this podcast as well, to where you have the same, the time frame may be longer, but it's the same amount of intensity and tracking throughout your day that, again, taking a break is going to help you finish well in that day, whether it's just, there's this thing called the 10-10-10 rule, right? So every 10 minutes, you look at something 10 feet away for 10 seconds. So even just that little break and that little pause of the day really helps your mind go back to that work refocused and clears out any fogginess that may start to accumulate just because you've been at it for, certain time blocks throughout your work day. Blake, any thoughts? Do you take a break? And why is it important to you?
Yeah, I learned from an early age, it was important to give yourself a break and to break yourself a piece of that Kit Kat bar, when you need to. There I go, saying brands again, Nick. We're gonna get in trouble.
What is this, Home Alone?
No, taking breaks is critical. I actually encourage my clients with this when they're feeling stuck or sort of hitting their head against the wall. A lot of times we just really want to figure stuff out. But I love to just literally right behind me, I will lay down on the carpet and set a timer for 15 minutes and I may not fall asleep, but I just close my eyes and just rest. And two things happen. One, I feel more clear-headed. And two, I usually, when I come back, an idea or a next step comes to me. Prioritization comes a lot easier right after you've taken a real break. So for me, my trigger for taking a break is I notice I'm getting distracted or I'm, quote, procrastinating or I'm going on social media. I just pause and I say, wait, what do I need? Oh, I need a break. And it's like my brain is trying to give me a break through distraction. But if I take an intentional break, I get the rewards of the intentional break. So absolutely, definitely take a break. That's method number 3.
Method number 4 is connect with someone or yourself. connect with someone or yourself. And I feel like a little bit of that method 3 bleeds into this because it actually takes time or a pause in your day to take time to connect with someone else. Hopefully they're on their break as well at the same time. That way you're not the distraction to the person or yourself. But how do you see this play out in the business world with maybe some of your clients? Because I think the natural thought is, or maybe the deception is, one, I don't take a break because if I use my work day to get the work done, then on the other side of the work, I can shut down all the way. And sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. But I think that same thing can kind of bleed in with the connection aspect that we're talking about here with this method. Is that true at all?
It's huge. This is one of my biggest struggles because I'm an introvert. And so, yes, it's really valuable to connect with yourself and you can journal, do that sort of thing. But I actually think when it comes to energy and boosting energy, if you're working with people and all that stuff all day, yes, taking time as an introvert to yourself is really valuable. But to me, connecting with somebody else gives me a lot of energy, even when I've been with people all day, because I've been in giving or in work mode, not in necessarily receiving from other people type of mode or no agenda type connection. So this doesn't have to be something you, for instance, have to do in the middle of a workday per se, but it probably is something, if you're busy, that you need to make time for. My wife and I will oftentimes do this when we're previewing our next week. Is one of the things when we're doing a weekly overview, we ask is, well, who do we want to connect with? Who do we want to connect with this week? Oh, I'm trying to arrange a play date with the such and such family, or maybe we should go to the farmer's market on Tuesday and see if whoever wants to go with us. So it's really, really critical. And to be honest, it just makes life richer. And I was thinking when we had this bullet point in our notes, have you guys read that book, War of Art? Help me with the author here. Neither of you guys have read that book?
No.
Well, there's plenty of people you listening have read this book.
Stephen Pressfield.
Stephen Pressfield. Okay. So this book called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, and most people's takeaway from that book, because it's the theme of it, he's like, the war of art is essentially you've got to be a professional and fight the resistance, and But one subtle thing that he includes in that book is in his routine, he actually starts, when he's writing a book, he would start his day having coffee with a friend. And to me, that's counterintuitive, but it really works. Is I used to be like, no, I'm not going to do coffee in the morning because those are my most productive hours.
Right.
But man, when you can, even if it's not every day, but like just one time in the week, get coffee with a friend, you will have more energy resources to do battle that day with whatever your biggest challenges are.
So today's tip to level up your focus, real easy task. We're going to ask you to try the 10-10-10 rule. What that means is after every 10 minutes, look at something 10 feet away for 10 seconds. And this is an easy way to get a small break into your workday, especially if you're in front of the computer screen all day. It gives your eyes a moment to rest as well. So you can grab that boost of energy to continue on with the rest of the tasks that you need to complete throughout the day.
Well, I want to tell you about a tool from Full Focus called the Life Score Assessment. Sometimes you need clarity on the different areas of your life. Maybe you find yourself always thinking about work, or always thinking about money, or always thinking about health, or some specific area of life, and you're striving for work-life balance. You want to have a rich life in all areas. Where do you start? How do you consider what to prioritize next? Well, the Life Score Assessment is going to help you with that. It's a very simple process. It takes less than 10 minutes, really. But if you go to assessments.fullfocus.co/lifescore, you can take this assessment totally free, and you'll actually get a visualized report back instantly with an assessment on the different arenas of your life so that you can start prioritizing what you want to finally achieve some work-life balance. So that URL again is assessments.fullfocus.co/lifescore.
Thank you for joining us on Focus on This.
This is the most productive podcast on the internet, according to my mom. So share it with your friends, and don't forget to join our Full Focus Planner community on Facebook.
We'll be back next Monday with another great episode. But until then, stay
Stay
focused.
focused.